Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! This happened a couple of days ago, so I'll do my best to have the conversation exactly as it went, but some may be paraphrased. For context, I work nights in a gas station. About a week ago, a couple of kids, probably no more than 15 or 16 years old, who are semi-regulars, as in I've seen them a few times before but not often enough to know them, came in around 2 a.m. and pulled a runner on me with around $30 in drinks and snacks. As I'm not allowed to chase shoplifters, I do what's required and leave a note for my boss so she can pull the tapes and post the pictures for us so we can tell them to get out if they are ever stupid enough to come back. You wouldn't believe how many thieves actually are in fact stupid enough to come back. These two morons in particular. Well, 2 days ago I'm working my only weekly day shift, and who should walk in but my pair of thieves? And who do they have with them? One of their mothers. I immediately buckle down and tell them they need to go now. The following is how the conversation went. Karen will be the mother in the story. The two thieves walk in. You two need to go right now. I tell them. First kid tells me, "For what?" And the other, "We didn't even do anything." You know exactly what you did, and you're banned from this store. You can leave on your own feet or leave with a police escort. You choose. They leave and go back to the car waiting for them at the bomb. From the window I can see them talking to the woman in the driver's seat, gesturing and pointing. She gets out of her car and storms into the store. "Why did you tell my son and his friend they can't be here?" "Ma'am, they ran out with nearly $30 in products. We don't allow thievery and they are banned from the store. You are welcome to come and get what they need. But if they are seen on the property, the police are going to be called." "No, my son is not a thief. How dare you? Give me a manager." "Gladly. She doesn't know my manager has less patience for customer nonsense than I do. Since the store isn't very big, she's already heard this exchange from the office. I bring her out and she says exactly what I did." "That's a bold-faced lie. My son is a good boy. You're targeting him and his friends for no reason." The manager tells her, "You're welcome to come back and watch the tape for yourself." And Karen says she'll do just that. Then she adds, "And once I have proof you're lying, I'll be expecting this little jerk to be fired." The manager brings Karen into the office. I accompany them, being the assistant. It is both part of my job and a joyful experience to watch Karen's face fall when she finds out her good boy is a rotten thief. The manager plays a tape, and Karen's son and his friend, clearly identifiable as their only means of a disguise, were their school track hoodies pulled up over their hair. Folks, they had their freaking names on their back. They were wearing the same hoodies as they sat in the car waiting. The Karen was too stunned to speak at first, but eventually remembered how to Karen and stormed out shrieking that she'd be calling corporate. For what? Who knows? But she's calling anyway. The manager said that if she came again and caused a scene, we will take the tapes to the police and they can take it from there. At the time, I was 15 when I encountered my first entitled parent. We'll be calling her Karen, or EP for short. To start, I'm going to back up till 10 minutes before she comes into play. My team, the school Pirates, was home for the day, so we batted second. Nothing crazy for our entitled parent to notice that their child wasn't playing, because our teammate to whom the entitled parent's child was going to sub in for was batting nines, so they weren't batting in the top of that inning. Yet here we are. After we met our run limit of 4, the current players in the order went to go play in their position, but some parent noticed that their teenage child wasn't starting. This is our entitled parent, and she flipped out. "Excuse me, coach. Could I help you?" "Actually, that's why I'm here." She then coughed before saying, "My child isn't starting. I want to know why." Well, you see here, MP, the kid's name, wasn't paying attention in previous games or practice. I won't play a player that...
What? That is black? Is that what you were going to say?
By the way, I personally don't mean to type the word black like that. It was just a choice chosen by me to write it that way, because of the entitled parent's tone of voice and expression. Sorry. The coach tells her, this is absolutely not the reason. He doesn't pay attention to anything I simply ask him to do, to get better at baseball. And he doesn't do anything to support the team during games.
I don't care. I want my child to start. So pull one of those delinquents off the field and replace him with my kid.
At this time, the home place umpire heard enough of this woman, and he kicked her out. He tells her, ma'am, you are going to have to leave the complex for your behavior and the way you yelled at coach.
You can't do that.
I just did. Now leave before I have someone call the police to escort you out. She left and the game continued. But the entitled parent came back and was given a second chance to leave the complex. In the fourth inning where her kid was playing, we could hear her screaming at the top of her lungs at her kid to cheer him on. We were batting at the time anyone noticed. Ma'am, I told you to leave and you had your only chances. As the oldest player on the team and practically the manager, I decided to call my father, the officer on duty in our small town. The game was paused until she was gone. Ultimately, she was banned from coming to any activities at the sportsplex for the rest of the high school season, even though we are in junior high. Edit. That day we won 4-2, ending on the 5th of 5 innings. Hope this kinda makes your day, and teaches dumbfounded people not to complain that their child is not entitled to start on a sports team. So, some backstory first. I work at a large grocery store chain. As someone who stocks groceries, replaces items that have been left or returned throughout the day, and various other chores around the store. It's a pretty small one, so most of the employees can do almost all the tasks. So this particular night I was putting away a cart of items that customers decided they didn't want, overstock, or were damaged. There was a separate area where damaged items went, obviously. Now I should preface this with the fact that I am not completely deaf. I can faintly hear things like slamming doors, loud phones, ringtones, and some things like that. Though I can't hear voices at all, even loud yelling. While I'm deaf, I know sign language. Have a large pin and lanyard that I wear that informs people that I'm in fact deaf. In addition to this, I have a small notebook that has a variety of pre-written responses to questions, sort of like flashcards. Though communication is difficult sometimes, I try my best to make things work, and I'm very prepared. Most people are understanding. They work with me and we get through the conversation. Some kind people even sign with me. That always makes me smile. I'm pretty young and don't look the typical hearing impaired person. So when people sometimes get a little grumpy because I didn't respond right away, they are very apologetic when they find out. Not this time though. This is where the story gets good. In the cast we have the deaf teenager, me, the crazy Karen, the nice customer, and the store manager. And also the regional/district manager. So I'm mulling along one evening and decided to get an early start on the overstock from the day, which was filling a shopping cart to the max. Since this was earlier than I normally began, there were more people still in the store as opposed to when I usually started. No big deal. I started anyway. About half a shopping cart later, I'm in the paper towel section when I feel someone roughly poke me in the shoulder. I jump and turn around startled to see this lady. She's taller than me, and I'm no slouch, I'm 6 foot tall. She's very thin, probably mid-50s. Frizzy blonde hair, only held back by a bright red hat atop her head. This back in September of 2022, and of course she doesn't have a mask on. She begins to what I assume was yell, judging by the aggressive look on her face. I begin to point to my lanyard and ears, trying to communicate that I can't hear her. According to the nice customer who I will introduce in a moment, she was saying things like, "I'm talking to you. I've been trying to get your attention for 5 minutes. She then takes a step forward and grabs my lanyard, yanking it violently and it gets unsnapped from around my neck. She throws it to the ground, and at this point I'm very nervous and beginning to panic. I try to actually say that I can't hear her, but I'm not sure how it came out, as I've never actually heard my own voice. My partner says it sounds very cute though. It is at this point a nice customer enters a picture. I see him round the corner, a 30-something-year-old man I assume, rounds the aisle and walks up to the crazy Karen, asking what the problem was. This is all what he wrote down for me, saying what he said after the incident. The nice customer looks over to me and I frantically point to the pen on my mask and grab my notebook and scribble down I'm deaf and I don't know why she's yelling at me. The nice customer turns to the crazy Karen and they exchange some words. Things like, "Can't you see he's deaf? Why are you yelling at a kid like that?" And responses like, "He's not deaf. He's just ignoring me because he's a lazy little jerk." This goes on for a few minutes and I finally begin to cry as this has caused a scene with people starting to surround us. It finally attracted the attention of my two managers, the store manager and the district manager. The store manager walks up to me while the district manager walks up to the nice customer and the crazy Karen, who have now really started shouting at each other. The store manager knows sign language and asks me if I'm alright. I say I am and wipe the tears from my face and grab my lanyard from the ground. The store manager tells me to go grab my things and wait for her in the employee break room. About 15 minutes later, the two managers walked in with a police officer and the crazy Karen had been arrested. Store manager explains to me in sign language that the crazy Karen had been arrested for third-degree assault and the officer needed a written statement and asked if I wanted to press charges. I happily say yes and give my statement. The nice customer stuck around and I wrote him a thank you note. The store manager also gave him a gift card for being an upstanding citizen. That was by far the worst experience I have ever had with a customer. But I'm thankful that awesome people like the nice customer, the store manager, and the district manager exist. Also, the crazy Karen got sentenced to a few months in jail, probation, and was fined a hefty amount. So one day, I was traveling back home from Orlando to Miami with my girlfriend and my son, male 5. There were 4 seats in the place we were sitting, me in a seat, girlfriend on the opposite seat, with the son aside. And here comes the entitled mother with her daughter, age 6 to 8. There was only one seat available in the wagon next to my girlfriend.
"Excuse me, could your son please sit on your lap? We are tired of standing."
My girlfriend tells her, "We have reserved this seat earlier, ma'am."
"Your son is obviously younger, so he should sit on your lap."
I say, "How about my son is already comfortable in here? Maybe you should put your daughter on your lap. There is one free spot here."
"But she wouldn't be comfortable."
Around 2 minutes of arguing, she got furious and said,
"Fine. How about I get the security?"
"Go on. We were here first already." The moment I said this, the ticket inspector came in our wagon hearing our screaming. "What's going on?"
"This man tried to stab me with a knife. He took it out of his pocket and threatened me and my daughter."
Actually, this isn't true. We were peacefully sitting in a cart when this woman and her kid came here demanding us to make space for her. We told her that we were here first, and she tried to grab my son and put him in our lap. I confirmed this. This lady just touched our little boy. And actually 2 other passengers pitched in as well. That is right. That lady is making a ruckus.
"This Karen is crazy."
The Karen turned around at the second passenger and started her babbling, which consisted mainly of,
"I'm not Karen, you disrespectful brat,"
and some gibberish I couldn't understand. Then the inspector told the entitled mother to leave, or he will report her to the authorities. She basically tore into him, so he reported her. At the nearest station, 2 officers had to carry her flailing around and screeching, and another officer escorted her daughter out of the train. When I saw Karen in that state, I just couldn't hold it and smirked at her through the window. After the incident, we thankfully never heard of her again. Not my story, but it happened to a friend of mine. Like many Canadians, he worked in a famous coffee chain named after a hockey player. These restaurants can get very busy during the peak times of the day, so patients can run a tad thin in the workers. My friend lived in a small town with a high retiree population, so this coffee house gave a seniors discount, and the seniors knew about it. It was common that they would request their discount along with their order to ensure they would get their discount. One day, a senior woman came in during the afternoon rush, and my friend greeted her as he normally did. "How may I help you?" "I want a small coffee and my senior's discount." Friend pouring the coffee into the cup. "Okay, what would you like in your coffee?"
"I want my senior's discount."
"Yes, ma'am, I will give you your discount. How do you take your coffee?" The old lady getting more demanding now.
"I want my senior's discount."
My friend getting exasperated. "Ma'am, I understand. I will give you your discount. But I first need to make your coffee. What do you want in your coffee?"
"My senior's discount."
My friend had reached his end. The senior's discount on a small coffee worked out to be about 10 cents. So he reached into the cash till, picked out a shiny new dime, dropped it in the coffee, put the lid on, handed it to the old lady and said, "Okay, ma'am, one small coffee with a senior's discount." He immediately went for a break and never came back. Edit. I just wanted to drop a note since I'm seeing a lot of comments mentioning that the old may have been deaf or have some kind of mental disorder/issue. I want to assure everybody that this was not the case. I want to assure everyone that if that was even suspected just a little bit, I wouldn't have posted this story. The lady had full capacity of all of her functions and was just being too demanding of her discount due to entitlement. Thank you for watching and see you next time.